Aaron Rodgers might have just revealed where he's going to be signing. And there's no shock. It sounds like he's signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he appeared on the YNK podcast with Mike Stud. That sounds made up.
That's a great name.
Add it to the list of made up podcast names. It looked like it was some sort of a live event. And I think people were asking questions. A young NFL fan asked if he would consider playing for the Chicago Bears this year and if he was offered. And his quote back was, "No, but I believe there's a team that might play in Chicago this year for a road trip." Rodgers said in relation to this, he said this with a very, clear smirk. And then he was asked if he would name the team. And he said, "I don't know. I'm going to check it out," Rodgers said with a smirk on his face. Later on in the interview, this is where it became pretty clear. I'm like, okay, this dickhead's just playing the dumb game that he always plays. Rodgers offered a hint when a Vikings fan said he was excited to see Rodgers at US Bank Stadium this year. And Rodgers followed up by saying, all he said was, that game is in Ireland. He was referring to the Steelers playing the Vikings in week 4 in Dublin. So I don't understand at this point, man. I don't understand why he's doing this shit. And then I'm falling into it. I'm getting mad right now. It's 1:00 on a Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, and I'm getting mad about this. What is the point? Just sign. What is the holdup? What am I missing here?
He stated that he was dealing with some people in his life that were having very serious issues, and that he was holding off for that reason. Which I'll give him space for that. If you're claiming that someone in your life had the big C or whatever he claimed.
Did he claim that?
I think he did. I think he said people were dealing with serious personal issues. If that's what it is, that's what it is.
Who knows with him what that means?
And then when he goes back, this is where people get lost on him. This is where your rage happens. I'm going to explain it. He thinks he's way more charming than he actually is. So when he has that quirky smile and the eyebrow raised, and he talks like it's all eyebrow raised and tongue in cheek, it irritates people because it's not charming. It's smarmy with him. And it's a little more arrogant. There's no in between. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is just being cheeky. You kind of think now Aaron Rodgers is being a dickhead.
Well, if he was doing this back in March, April, hovering around free agency time, before free agency, middle of free agency, fine with it. He's having a little fun with it. He's trying to make his decision. He's having a little fun with it. It's damn near June. He clearly has made up his mind and he's going to play. But here we are pattering around, goofing off, just playing with the hearts of Steelers fans, messing with the minds of all NFL fans. Pick a team. Pick it. Retire. I'm tired of talking about it. Here we are talking about it. I will keep putting it in the damn rundown.
I like our check-in.
Until he makes a decision. But I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of doing the damn check-ins.
June is not the time for the wry smile. June is the time for action. It is the time where other teams are already working out and they're already getting reps in on the field and learning the offense and how the team operates. It's not the time for wry smiles and imaginary glass tinks off your one-line zinger, Aaron Rodgers. Put the fries in the bag. Get in the lab. All of this extra stuff, we're tired of extra. I think we are having we've seen an extra overload, and the renaissance is coming where we just want the guys to be the guys. We just want you to be on the team, see you in the sweet jersey. And here's another truth. The second I see Aaron Rodgers trotting out on a field in a new uniform, I'm going to be back in. But this is the painful part. This is the part where you're sitting in the dentist chair and you're just rooting through your gums with that aluminum floss. And you need to floss more. You're carving the shit out of me, Doc. Let me get out of this chair and get my toy. I'm waiting for the toy. The toy is Aaron Rodgers in a Steelers uniform wearing 12, looking all sexy.
Were you getting a lot of toys at the dentist?
I liked the styrofoam airplanes that you could put together where it was 3 pieces of styrofoam. It's about as cheap of a toy as you could get.
I bet that was a real tough puzzle for you.
But you'd have to puncture out the little slots, and you'd put it together. You'd have the wing, you'd have the body, and then you have the little tail fin at the end, the back wing, whatever it's properly called.
Coming out of your ears while you were putting this thing together.
And it would end up being a pretty damn good plane, and you just toss it around. You toss it to yourself all day. I'd wear these things out. Loved the styrofoam airplane. Everyone was getting the sticky hands. I don't need the sticky
I don't
hands.
think I ever got toys at the dentist. I don't.
That doesn't surprise me. No one seeing your
All right.
arrangements.
Okay.
I could see you and your brother just going into an adult dentist office from like forever and just be like, oh, hello, Mr. DeLeone. How are you? 7 years old and with a bib on.
We're not going to get too much into the that's not the right word. The history of the DeLeone's background with the dentists. I think I've told you part of this. We're not going to get into that. Let's stick on the Steelers.
Sure.
Do you actually think that if he signs and he ends up being the starter for the Steelers this upcoming year, do you actually think that they're going to be successful? Like, do you think that they're going to be a playoff team? Are they better than they were with Russell Wilson, or is this just going to turn into a combustible mess, a giant distraction? Because I think it's trending towards that. I think he's got a lot more upside than Russell Wilson as a starter.
Yes, agreed.
Over 40. He's not as mobile. We saw that this past year. He still is Aaron Rodgers. He is one of the biggest magicians of a quarterback that we've seen in the last 20 years. He's going to find a way to be successful. We've compared this to Brett Favre with the Vikings. It could be equally as successful. But this is way more distracting. I just don't know if we can survive multiple weeks of him appearing on a podcast, him appearing on the Pat McAfee Show, him just saying something, jabbing with the media, just being a total asshat. I don't have a lot of faith that he can't be normal, considering he's already being odd and he's unsigned. Maybe that's why he's holding off signing, is he wants to get as much, spread as much shit out as possible, go on as many podcasts, say as many ridiculous things as possible. Like, we're not going to address some of the weird conspiracy theory things that he said over the last week. Like, maybe he's just trying to get that off of his chest, knowing that if he signs with the Steelers, they're going to hold him more accountable for saying reckless things.
But why would you? I don't know if I was going into a job interview the week before I'd start doing a bunch of petty crime because I'm about to be like about to be living straight for a while with my tie. Hello, Mr. Johnson. How's the coffee today? I just loitered outside of, for 12 hours.
Yeah, but they're begging you for it, this job. Like, they've got nothing else going on. They'd probably let him kill somebody and then show up and then be like, okay, all right, well, you got that out of your system, Aaron. Let's get started now.
I think that to the original question, he would put them in a better spot than if they were just to roll into the season with Mason Rudolph. He would put them in a better spot than if they had retained Russell Wilson another year of that. So it's a pretty low bar for him to beat. And for some reason, he decides, I need to make this low bar a little lower for myself by saying all this crazy stuff on a bunch of shows. Doesn't make sense to me, but he has decided that not making sense to everyone and being weird is more important than being a locked-in quarterback. And that is a tough thing to get beyond if you're an organization, because that works when it's Aaron Rodgers at 35 winning MVPs, throwing 48 touchdowns and 4 picks in a season.
Right.
40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who has had a questionable season last year. Everyone wants to say he caught fire at the back half.
Yeah.
They weren't winning games. He wasn't really – he was there, and he looked like at the time flashes of old Rodgers, but the majority of the time he looked like Granny in the pocket throwing a bunch of ducks at the turf because that was the right call, and I'm the vet quarterback that's seen it all. Like, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, starts taking a bunch of risks and decides to gunsling it, I'm all for it. But if it's more of this old lady quarterbacking, I don't need it.
Well, I think he was kind of forced into the old lady quarterbacking because you could see, and anyone who's kind of paid attention to guys who have come off Achilles injuries, it happens in basketball a lot more. But whenever somebody has an Achilles, they're a lot less mobile. I mean, this first and forehand from good old Kirk Cousins, who basically was the same as Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Older, couldn't plant, couldn't really drive the ball. His injury occurred a lot later on in the season, so like he had less of a recovery timeline than what Aaron Rodgers did. But you could tell that something was off physically from that injury. I think he'd be different. I would hope the way that his persona is being pushed out currently by him just winging it and going balls to the wall by saying whatever the hell he wants, I'd hope that translates to on the field, where last season I'm just going to go do crazy shit. If I throw 15 interceptions, I don't care. I'm going to see if I can turn this thing into, go on one more Super Bowl run.
I'm starting to think of older, like legendary quarterbacks recently. Like
none of them they've done the complete opposite. They've all been super conservative in, like, Peyton Manning's the best example.
Yeah, well, Peyton Manning had a neck that didn't work at the end of it and an arm that didn't work. I'm thinking of like Brady. When Brady first went to the Bucs, he was playing a little bit old lady football, but it didn't look bad. Aaron Rodgers is old lady football.
Yeah, because he's always been old lady football. He's always been aggressive, but he's always been decision maker over, like, very detailed decision maker over, I'm going to throw the ball into traffic. Like, he's never been, hey, I think I see a little bit of a gap, I'm just going to try this. He's never been that. He's been the same version.
Was his divorce drama taking place that last year in Tampa? I'm trying to remember if that was like a storyline throughout that season.
I think it was starting to build because he decided to go. I don't remember, but I just remember part of the driving force was that he decided to go back and play, and then that was what the catalyst was.
Yeah, before that last year. It might have been that last year, because there's something in me that's saying, if I had an option to have Tom Brady still starting for my football team, I would take it, because he's just that good and that dialed, and he didn't bring the drama. But I can't specifically remember if that last year in Tampa, everything was falling apart for the guy. And that's when Antonio Brown, all that stuff was at least circulating. All rumors, all crazy, batshit speculative rumors. But, like, was that happening in his last season? But I don't think that was all like Tom Brady being weird. I think it was just Tom Brady's family life was falling apart.
He couldn't control that, and he was very opposite of Aaron Rodgers, where you won't even know something's happening and he will speak on it. Tom Brady, things are happening and he won't speak.
He's asked about it because okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, completely different. Yeah, Rodgers needs to get a grip still.
Yeah, he needs to get his shit together. We'll see what happens if he ends up signing with the Steelers.